Alrighty, everyone. Hixtape 2 is out, and it's time to talk about it. This is the second installment in the Hixtape series, brought to us by none other than Mr. Hardy himself. Back in 2019, we got Hardy's Hixtape Volume 1, and now to finish off 2021, we've gotten Hixtape 2. But it's not Hardy's Hixtape anymore, it's just Hixtape. And it didn't really just come out. I mean, we've been getting a song every week since September. You know, they kind of just slapped Morgan Wallen on the end of the last track. Look, we're not here to talk about the rollout of this project or the logistics behind these decisions. We're here for the music, which begs the question, how is the music? It's not great. This is probably going to be one of my more frowned upon reviews, but I'm not going to sit here and act like this was an enjoyable project. Hixtape 2, in summary, is just the most obnoxious, overused country stereotypes compiled into a mixtape, beaten like a dead horse, and then brought back to life just to be beaten dead again. Which is a shame, because I had quite high hopes for this record. I was a big fan of Hardy's breakout EP. I thought Hixtape 1 was a super innovative idea with lots of great tracks, lots of variety, really living up to the idea of a mixtape, and then came his rock album in 2020 that I think incredibly highly of. It was one of my top albums of that year, so I had no reason to not be excited for this project, but I guess while a rock showed the potential Hardy's reimagined bro country had, Hixtape 2 shows the low ceiling that just hadn't been revealed yet on a rock, and I understand that Hardy sort of gave away the reins on this project, but even the tracks he's involved with, the majority of them just aren't great. But I'm not going to sit here and slander Hardy because this was quite the joint effort from several artists. I think there's like 33 or some crazy number. Sonically, this mixtape is just a sensory overload practically the entire time. Heavy rock and roll guitars with bashing metal percussion from the first chord to the last. Other than some rare exceptions, the vocals are just who can yell louder or sound angrier. But lyrically is where this thing really falls flat. And I mean, really falls flat. It sounds like throwaways from a Brantley Gilbert record in 2013. It's hard to summarize the substance of these lyrics without directly quoting a track, because these songs aren't even trying to be creative most of the time. It's just a lot of trucks, a lot of beer, a lot of country girls, a lot of country roads, a lot of country boys and country girls holding beers in trucks driving down old country roads. It just feels like a flashback to the peak of the bro country era, only this time we're going to use heavy rock and roll sounds and new artists. Even melodically, there's just hardly a moment on this thing that sticks. I don't know if it's a problem with the deliveries or the melodies themselves, but they just feel flat. The hooks seem to be more rhythm driven, which in its own right isn't a bad thing, but when there's hardly a melody in 46 minutes of music that sticks, maybe there's an issue here. Now, despite this project on the whole being a big dud in my eyes, there are some highlights on this thing, like the track with John Party and Larry Fleet, In Love With My Problems, which shows off some really creative songwriting that I'm all here for. If only it wasn't a cover from Larry Fleet's album. I also quite enjoyed the Midland cut Break Your Own Damn Heart. This definitely feels like a Midland track just sort of squeezed into the track list. It feels super out of place on this record, but in a good way. It starts with the classic Hixtape blaring electrics and heavy drums, but that's nothing more than like a musical watermark, because instantly afterwards, it cuts right back into this driving honky-tonk beat. It's a song about pointless romance in a bar, right up Midland's alley. I think Mark also provides one of the better vocal performances across the whole record. The intoxicated vibe of I Smoke Weed is a lot of fun, even if the lyrics can come off a little jarring at times. It was just nice to get away from the overwhelming production for a few minutes. The delivery is super funny, the production complements it well, it gets a thumbs up from me. But that's really it for the highlights. The rest are either just filler in my eyes or actively annoying, like Beer With My Buddies or Beer Song, which both just serve absolutely no purpose. They're forgettable, stale, and lifeless. Beer Song specifically just makes me want to turn my music off. The tempo is rushed, the deliveries are desperate and all over the place. In a way, though, it is impressive because in a record defined by overly heavy and crowded production, this one somehow manages to stand out as too much all at once. Hometown Boys and To Hank also just come off a bit pretentious, especially To Hank. Like, I get what it's going for, but we already have Jonesin on the track list. They're effectively the exact same song, only Jonesin is better, so it begs the question, why on earth is To Hank even here? Then as you go further into the track list, we get the track One of Y'all, which is almost the embodiment of Hixtape as a whole. Everything about this song, I just don't care. Especially since it's deeper into the back half, like you've just spent the last half hour of my life bombarding me with songs showing me how blue-collar country you are. So despite the words you put in my mouth in the pre-chorus, trust me, I know your country. It just feels like a sad piece of musical peer pressure. Like, please, mommy, look. I'm country. Like, stop. We get it. Yeah, this wasn't great. It stings more because I was quite looking forward to this project when it got announced, but it just wasn't all that great. Again, despite there being decent moments on this thing, it's like finding a necklace in a dumpster, but even then, the necklaces aren't fancy enough to justify what you just put yourself through. So, rating-wise, I think I'm going to give this one a 4 on the dot, 4.0. And that is all I've got for you guys today. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to drop a like. If you're new, maybe consider subscribing for more country music content. Be sure to let me know what you guys thought of this project in the comments below. Links to my Instagram, Discord, and podcast are down in the description below. And yeah, until next time, I hope you guys have a great day.